G'day, John here from Gingrich Construction. I'd like to do a little video today on aprons or tool belts in regards to comfort and things that I found have helped me with comfort. A bit of a background on what I do. We do heavy framing and steel building erection. We don't do any trim work, any light work. It's all just giver. And so our point of view on our crew tour stuff is how tough is it, how long will it last, what can it do, how strong, and we're not so much into the finer things. Something that's really important to us is quality, and leather tool bags is something that lasts longer than our nylons. We have one guy in the crew that just got a high quality nylon tool bag about a year and a half ago, and it's starting to wear through up here. So anything that I want to do with leather. I've had this particular set of bags for 10 years and they've served me very well. But one thing that I caught on to right away is they're not that comfortable. While leather is comfortable once it forms and fits to you, a comfortable tool bag still is not necessarily comfortable. And we carry 25 plus pounds. And you guys who do heavy framing, you know how it is. You've got a 50-pound box of nails in here and your tools, and you feel it. It's just the long and short of it. Some people can't bear it, but it's just part of our job, and we like to frame it. And I'm a big fan of the leather. It forms to you. It just grows to fit you, and I really like that. There's something to be said for the comfort of leather. Anyhow, when this tool bag is just like any other tool bag, belt, 2 bags, a couple hammer loops, and it wasn't very comfortable. In here we get a lot of weight. You guys who are framers, you know how it is. You're 25 plus pounds around your waist all day, bending, climbing, doing trusses, whatever have you, and I get sore in here. And so I wanted to find something that was more comfortable, allowed me to carry the weight, because I like having lots of tools with me. I don't like leaving stuff behind because I just might need it, right? And so the first thing I tried was the Occidental Leathers sheepskin pad. They still make this. Just a heavy leather sheepskin glued on the back. Excellent idea. I wore it for about 2 months and I really liked it. It was very comfortable. But leather, because it forms, first it formed to me, excellent, really like that. But then here where your belt slides through, it formed as well. And the pad started sliding up. I'll show you from the belt here. So what happened, when you first got it, it sat about like so, with your belt going through. And then as time went along, it would slide up as this formed. And then what had happened was the bag is down, pad is up. You bend over, binds. And the guy, he was a little bit stout. Well, we notice it, we can feel it, that's for sure. And so it wasn't that comfortable anymore. I didn't have problems with pressure points in here, and I really liked that, but I had problems with binding too much. It wasn't a very good option, so I wanted something better yet. And I found this. Now you probably have seen these before. It's Cooney's padded belt. You see it in a lot of their aprons. Been around for a lot of years. Cheap and effective. It's a very tight fit for the Occidental's 3-inch belt. Bit of shoving and ramming, you can make it go. And because of your extra loops here, you can space your pockets so they stay, they don't slide around. So the combination of a pocket here and then a hammer loop, or maybe a pocket and hammer loop here, you can make up a combination that'll work for you. And a bit of padding, very nice. I liked it a lot. By and large, it was very comfortable. Now, one thing I didn't like was the padding up here. It made just more stuff in the way for when you bend over. other than that, I liked it. They only last about 2 years. They start to bunch up, especially in here. They'll turn into kind of like a rope. They'll wear through, loops will rip off, and they're done. Normally, if you're buying a cheaper apron, a belt, it's gonna last as long as the apron. And we found with cheap aprons, about 6 months to a year and a half, depending on how cheap he goes, all they'll last with the abuse that we put them through in our crew. So I did this for quite a number of years using this belt. I bought quite a number of them, and I finally got sick of it. I said, I want something better. I tried cutting off the ends here so when it wraps around you, it actually was only come to the sides. I really like that, gave me a little more room for movement when I bend over. But I want something that was all one complete unit and had padding. And if you look at Occidental Leather's website, look at their Just-A-Fit series, I wanted something like that. One of our guys in the crew has one, he really likes it. Now one thing there is it's wearing through right in here because it's not leather. They can't, or they don't have that as a complete system of leather. You can get leather bags on it, but the belt itself and the padding is going to be synthetic. And his is wearing through in about a year and a half. And I didn't want that. I want something with the durability of what I've had for the past 10 years and really liked. So I hacked my apron apart once again, and I'll come up closer and I'll show you what I did. Alright folks, this is it. What I did here is I took the Occidental leather, their belt with the sheepskin padding. It's the belt that goes all the way around, but they don't have a tongue or a buckle on it. And if you look, they have their one apron that's fixed, be similar to this. So with this belt, the tongue, the pockets, and hammer loop all fastened to this belt, so your pockets can't move. And I really like that idea. And they also have their Just-A-Fit, which would be accomplishing exactly what I have here. But going back to that thing of durability, the Just-A-Fit, which one of our guys has, is wearing through in here that I was talking about only after a year and a half. And I didn't want that. I want a set of leather bags that last me for a long time. And I still am convinced that a leather bag tends to be more comfortable once it's broken in. So what I did is I took my old CLC bags, chopped the tops off, and you can see I just simply bolted it to this belt. And if you look on the other side, you can see some of the screws, some of the bolts. Honestly, I have not found any of this to cause any pressure points and sore spots on me. I would prefer if it didn't have to be that way, but it is. Now one problem with just doing my own is here. It's never caused me any problems because it pulls against tight when it wraps around you, but I can't stitch it without a lot of time consuming labor because of the sheepskin padding. And also my drill hook, I just riveted on. On the nail pouch side, I did the same thing. I just cut off my old bags and I fastened it to the Occidental belt. Now this pocket, it came off of my first apron I had. I wanted a shallow pocket and I wanted it to be fastened to the front, which gives me easy access to see bits. This is where I carry all of my bits. I just want a shallow pocket so it's easy to reach. But also with having it at the front, I can reach in the back easily, which is where you would naturally reach into your apron. One thing that Occidental does not offer, and you generally only find on your cheaper aprons, is a tape measure hook. And I like this, all of our guys like it. There isn't anyone who prefers the leather holder that you typically find on your higher end aprons. Now these only last approximately a year, and I actually make them out of sheet metal. Until this time I used steel banding, and I'm hoping that that lasts longer. Now for the thing that actually makes it different is this buckle. I put this on, it's also the tongue off of my first apron I had. I still had laying around. Incidentally, the first one I had, I hacked and chopped away at and trying to make it better, and I finally gave up and got the hardware store in my area to hire in, or to bring in this apron for me. Anyhow, it's fairly simple, as you can see. I just simply cut apart the belt so it's in two pieces, and then I fasten this tongue to this side, the buckle to this side. And one thing I should have done is I should have fastened this over further, and then that would have allowed me to adjust it smaller for a smaller person. This goes a lot small enough for me though, but if a manufacturer was to make a system like this, they would have to fasten it over here more, allowing it to make it a little bit smaller. And then on this end, on the original belt, it was simply just a loop here, and it was designed so you'd put this belt inside of your regular belt, which held your pouches, but you'd run into the same problem where the padded area will slide up because the weight is hanging on your belt, and that weight does not transfer to the inner belt with the padding. So I fastened the tongue off of my old Occidental belt. I'm not sure how many years I've had that. Take a wild guess, around 5 or 6, but I don't remember for sure, but it's been a while. Buckle on this end, and it allows me to tuck the tongue in behind this pocket, and it works very nice. Now this is something I found to be very comfortable up here in Canada, especially in the fall. We can want insulated coveralls on in the morning, and by mid-afternoon we're down to just our shirts, and by evening we're starting to put coats on again. And this here I can easily move it a notch. I've never actually had to move it more than 2 notches for the most amount of clothing that I'd put on in a day, but generally it's one of these 2. In the odd time, depending what I'm doing, if I'm doing a lot of bending, I will go and pull it closer together to pull the pockets further behind me, and I find that increases the comfort. And this also, with just having a buckle, it's very quick. As you can see here, I'll stretch it out for winter clothing. It's faster than trying to adjust one of the Adjust-A-Fit series that Occidental has. And is it better? I think it is, because it's out of leather. I don't know if they've ever tried to make something like this, but I would really like if I could find someone who would be able to build me an apron like this. Well, then having all of the rivets and fasteners underneath the sheepskin and having this stitched. Now, a couple of other notes on this particular apron. The layout of the interior is the very same as you would find in Occidental leather, and one by one all of our crew has been switching to Occidental. There's just a few that haven't yet, and I expect that they will too once their aprons are wore out that they currently are using. Down in here I put one of the Occidental leathers tool shields. I made my own place I could clip it in. I cut the bottom out of it so I could fit larger items, and then I just mounted it close enough to the bottom of my pocket that things wouldn't fall through. And I would like to see somebody come out with one, and maybe possibly one of you viewers out there know where I could get the same idea as the Oxy tool shield, but instead of having it narrowed down to just hold a chisel, to continue being the same size cylinder all the way down with the floor, so I can put in, like you see here, recip blades, drill bits, you name it, sharp things, and be able to easily access them while I have the apron on. Alright, I'll go put this back on and show you a couple of other things I like. Okay, note on this pocket again, Occidental Leather has their one leather series where they actually have a pocket up here and a leather tape measure holder. And they have the pocket at the back and the tape measure holder at the front, which is all good, and I would totally understand why you do that. But to eliminate having a pocket in the center, which obstructs straight in, and having it at the front where you reach in the back, this is just a natural way you reach in. When you're bent over is the only time that you'll run into hitting your pocket. But by and large, we're standing, grabbing stuff, bending over, and doing what we're going to do. And also, I can very easily go in here if I want to get my number 1. Oops, that's my number 3. But as you can see, it's very easy for me to see what I'm looking for. Now, definitely want to see that if I did my own custom rig. And I would think it would be a good thing to incorporate in tool bags that they already have. And then on this side, the clip. Definitely sold on the clip. I would not do it any other way. But up until now, I've always had my clip further forward in the center, like you would generally see on most aprons. The Occidental, CLC, and other brands out there, Diamondback. If they're going to have a holder, it's going to be in the center. And Occidental has their one tool bag, the solid one, I forget. The Pro Framer, I forget what it's called now exactly. But the one where they have the sheepskin padded belt and the pockets all as one complete unit. It has the tape measure holder further back, and I thought I would try this out on this one, and I really like it. I definitely would not go back to having it up in the center anymore. It was simple to retrain to put it back a little further, gave me access to my pencil and my punch a lot easier. It also allowed me to see in, whereas when I had it forward, there was times I'd pull my tape measure off to see in, to get stuff hanging back here out of the way. Very simple. The only time I have to take it off to see anything is if I want one of my bits back here, which I seldom use, but still like to have along. Hence the weight. Anyhow, that's a small story on this apron here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you got any other ideas or suggestions on how to make a better unit that is quick, handy, I like to be able to just reach and grab something. I know if I want my hook blade, I've got my hook blade, right? And same as my knife, I don't want to have to look, I want to be able to just reach. And things have to be secure so we don't lose them, and just totally a natural, just your workflow has to be natural so things are smooth. Marking something to cut it, mark, and then I put my stuff away. I can easily grab, I can do my square mark, and then put my tools away and I'm done. And I like that, and I want that flow. But if I'm going to make something totally custom, any ideas that I could have to make it better, smoother, more comfortable would be appreciated. Thank you and have a great day. Alright, we'll show you a little bit more how it fits, how it sits. Having the buckles in the back, you might think it's possible that it's not very comfortable. And I really don't know how it looks from your perspective. But I've had no problems with this being uncomfortable. It sits very well. I don't have much of a bum, so it tends to slide off any apron I wear. And it's no worse for that, no better, very same. And I find that the way the belt fits back here is comfortable. Generally, it's not a pressure point for most people anyway. And from what guys say on the crew, they don't seem to think that that would be a problem. And it's definitely made it better up here with the extra support from the heavy leather and the sheepskin wool. Another thing that some of you are probably wondering is heat in the summertime. Back when I used these, it was summertime when I had these in use. So it was June and July if I remember correctly, and that's our warmest time of the year. I did not think of these as being hot. guessing they're probably warmer maybe. I sure didn't notice it if it was. I didn't get big wet spots or anything like that. It was no different than wearing my apron without them, other than I had the comfort of not having the pressure points. Alright, a few more finer details on this apron and things that I think are important. One is the distance from here to here. Makes a difference how far down your bags are going to hang, and I'm sure if you guys use a bigger set of bags, when you're reaching on this side, especially if you've got the 3 pockets, then it becomes more difficult to reach into here, say, because you're going to have to bend over further, you're hanging lower, and I don't really like that. I'm not sure why I have to put up with that in my mind, so I want to keep it up as high as I can so that I can reach. Now, side note, some of you are going to say get rid of this bag, go with Oxy setup where they got 2, or Kuni should also make some where they've got 2 bags here. Oxy has the split. That would be an option. Other than I can't get 5-inch spikes in here, and also I can't carry as many fasteners. This gives me more volume with giving me 3 different options. On the Occidental, they also have what they call the green framer series. Green or light? Sorry. The light framer series. And they have a slightly bigger main pocket. Their main pocket will be same size as what I have here. The regular Oxy is a little bit smaller main pocket than here, and also actually all the pockets on the Oxy are slightly smaller. And the distance from here to here on the light framer in the leather, it's their black leather one, is quite a bit bigger than on their standard red leather pouches. And here I've got I figure I need 3.5 inches minimum to hang a tape measure, and then I'm sure I can do this so you can see down to there I've got 5 inches. And with the light framer where there's a bigger distance in here, the pockets hang lower, plus the bottom of the main pocket is lower yet in comparison to the regular one, and it just increases that problem of having to bend further to reach into here. I think that this should be shortened and the pockets brought up as high as we possibly can, and still allow you to have your tape measure here and a little pocket here. This pocket here could be brought in not quite as deep, kept right up against the top. You're not going to be putting big things in here, they're just going to be little and bits, you name it. It's possible some guys are going to put a tape measure in there, and this particular pocket, it works perfectly fine for a tape measure as well.